Sarah had spent 5 years in New York City, fleeing her home at 17 to escape her mother's relentless pressure. Her eldest daughter, Nina, harbored an open disdain for Sarah. Birthdays passed without notice, and Sarah's accomplishments held no interest for Nina. Instead, it was her younger daughter, Lily, who was held in high esteem. "Lily Bug," Nina often reiterated. "Unlike you, she'll conquer the world. Smart, diligent, quick to grasp everything. She's my ray of hope, unlike you. Always struggling in school, forever trailing behind. I'm relieved I don't have to attend your parent-teacher conferences anymore. I'm tired of being embarrassed for you." Nina failed to acknowledge that Sarah's poor academic performance was due to her own overwhelming responsibilities, leaving her little time to complete homework. As the eldest, Sarah bore the burden of managing the household entirely. She cooked, cleaned, and laundered not just for herself, but also for her sister and mother. Nina and Lily, however, contributed nothing to the household chores. Working as a coat check attendant, their mother didn't exert herself much. Nina believed Sarah, taking on the brunt of the household chores, wasn't overly burdened. Meanwhile, Lily grew insolent and spoiled, never thinking to lend a hand to her sister. In search of solace, Sarah sought refuge with her paternal grandmother in New York City. Nina's first husband, Victor, passed away early when their daughter was just 4 years old. Lily, Nina's daughter from her second marriage, came into the picture afterward. Nina harbored a deep hatred for her first husband, even after his demise, always speaking ill of him. "Why did I ever listen to my mother and marry Victor?" Nina lamented. "I put up with that good for nothing for 5 years. He couldn't earn a decent living or help out around the house. I carried the burden alone." Nina's account was far from the truth. Victor earned a decent income, albeit at the expense of his health, working in tough conditions to provide for the family. On the other hand, Nina's second husband, an alcoholic and gambler, was considered a prize in her eyes. She regretted divorcing him to this day. Sarah, aware that Lily's father Gary had abandoned them for another woman, kept silent when her mother fed Lily lies. "Sweetheart, your father is far away, but he'll return one day," Nina assured Lily. "He's working hard to make sure we have everything we need. Don't listen to the rumors. Daddy didn't leave us. It's just people being jealous." Lily was younger than Sarah. Upon fleeing to New York City, Sarah cut off communication with her parents. Nina, angered by the loss of her free housekeeper, ignored her daughter's attempts to reach out. Shortly before her death, Sarah's grandmother revealed the truth. "Your mother was always wild," she confessed. "Her parents pressured her into marrying your father to escape the constant gossip and shame. My son loved your mother dearly, thrilled when she finally showed him some affection. Nina, as she confessed to me, only interacted with Victor out of spite for her then boyfriend, believing that seeing him with someone else would make him come back to her. But alas, it unfolded differently. Nina drove my son to an early grave, pushing him to work himself to the bone. She could never have enough money." 2 years ago, Nina reached out to her daughter, Sarah. By then, Sarah's grandmother had passed away, leaving her granddaughter a spacious one-bedroom apartment not far from downtown. In addition to the apartment, Sarah inherited a significant amount of money in savings, which she kept untouched for emergencies. During their conversation, Sarah quickly realized an emergency had arisen. "Sarah," Nina exclaimed, "we're in a crisis. Lily's gotten sick. They suspect leukemia. Mom, we need a substantial amount for the tests. I've sold everything I could to save my child. I didn't want to bother you until absolutely necessary, but I have no choice. Treatment will be covered by insurance, but with more money, we could get better medication. This is serious. Mom, how's Lily doing? What do the doctors say?" Sarah inquired anxiously. "The doctors say there's hope, but it depends on finances. If there's any chance, please help us." I'll send you the account details in a text. Mom, how much do you need? Sarah asked, her concern evident. It's a significant amount, probably several $100,000. I understand it's a lot to ask, but we have no other options, Nina implored. What about charities? They often help children with such severe illnesses, Sarah suggested. Nina's demeanor abruptly shifted. What's this talk about charities? She snapped irritably. By the time you deal with their red tape, it'll be too late. They pore over every medical record, and the process takes months. We don't have that kind of time. Are you going to send money or not? Mom, I'll come there tomorrow. I'll take a day off from work, explain the situation, and bring the money, Sarah assured her. No, you don't have to come, her mother hastily interjected, trying to dissuade Sarah. Why disrupt your routine for us? You're working, right? Your boss wouldn't appreciate it. Just send the money. We'll manage without you. Despite her mother's protests, Sarah refused to relent. She arranged for a 3-day leave from work and caught a train that same evening. By early morning, she was back in her hometown, standing outside the apartment door, knocking persistently. Yet, no one answered. Maybe they're at the hospital, she pondered. What should I do now? Wait here on the stairs until they return. Just as Sarah contemplated seeking refuge with her neighbor Aunt Natasha, the door creaked open, revealing her mother, bleary-eyed from sleep. Mom, I'm here. Where's Lily? I brought her some presents, Sarah exclaimed. Nina abruptly shut the door in front of her eldest daughter's face. Sarah, hold on a second. I'll be right back. The place is a mess. Let me quickly tidy up, she called through the closed door. Sarah stood there in disbelief. Had her mother lost her senses in grief? What was this talk about tidying up? She waited for 15 minutes, growing increasingly perplexed. Lily, lying on her bed, appeared far from sick. Sarah embraced her sister and reassured her. Don't worry, we'll get through this together. You look radiant, with a healthy glow on your cheeks. How are you feeling? And Mom, what are the doctors saying? The tests are ongoing. The diagnosis is still preliminary, Lily responded. But why are you here? We agreed you'd just transfer the money to me. Speaking of which, did you bring it? Yes, Mom, I did. Here, take this. It's exactly $10,000. Sarah handed over the money. Is that all? I was hoping for 3 times as much. Are you being stingy with your sister's health? You live in luxury in New York City, yet you can't spare more for us? Nina exclaimed disappointedly. That day, Sarah didn't even stay the night at her mother's apartment. Nina practically pushed her eldest daughter out the door, insisting she find accommodation elsewhere. You should get a hotel, or better yet, head back to New York. Lily needs extra care right now. Her immune system is weak. Even a simple cold could be dangerous. You were on the train. You could be carrying all sorts of germs. If I need anything, I'll call you. Don't come unannounced. Sarah, it's unnecessary. We're not always home, and you'll just waste money traveling back and forth. It would be better if you sent transfers more often, Nina concluded, shutting the door firmly behind Sarah. Since then, calls from her mother became a regular request for money transfers, escalating from monthly to weekly demands. The amounts grew significantly, and Sarah found herself unwittingly draining the savings her grandmother had accumulated over a lifetime. After exhausting nearly $1 million from her daughter, Nina quickly realized that despite Sarah's move to New York, she hadn't gained any financial savvy. She remained as trusting and vulnerable as ever. When Sarah informed her mother that the inheritance was gone, Nina responded nonchalantly. Well, you do have a salary, which by New York standards is quite decent. Send 2/3 to us and keep 1/3 for yourself. You'll live comfortably on this money. There's no need for you to rent an apartment. You have your own place, after all. I'm sure you'll manage your expenses just fine, covering utilities and groceries. Sarah couldn't bring herself to refuse helping her sister. And for 2 years, she sacrificed everything to assist her mother. During a conversation, Sarah asked, "Mom, are you still working at that coat check place?" "I quit a while back," Nina replied. "I can't work. Lily is sick. Who will take care of her?" "Mom, you've been promising to send me Lily's medical records for a while now," Sarah reminded her. "I have a close friend who works at a private clinic. The head of the organization is a respected doctor. She takes on even the most complex cases. Why don't I show her Lily's medical history? Maybe she could offer some insight." "Who needs remote insights?" Nina snapped irritably. "Lily needs to see this doctor in person." "Don't be ridiculous, Sarah. All I need from you is regular financial support. Everything else is none of your concern." In the middle of a busy workday, Sarah's phone buzzed with a call from Mom, flashing on the screen. It demanded immediate attention. Sarah let out a heavy sigh and silenced the call. But barely a minute later, the phone rang again. She won't give up, Sarah thought, rising from her desk and stepping into the hallway for more privacy. "Hello, Mom. What is it?" Sarah answered. "Why didn't you pick up right away? Why did you hang up on me?" Nina's voice came through, laced with annoyance. "Mom, I'm at work. I've told you this before. Don't call me during office hours. My boss scolded me today during a meeting because someone complained about me constantly leaving my desk for calls," Sarah explained. "Don't tell me about complaints. If I call, you answer immediately, understand?" Nina demanded. "Yes, Mom, I understand. What do you need?" Sarah pressed, trying to get to the point. "Lily's out of medication. Send us money right away," Nina replied curtly. "Mom, I just sent it 2 days ago. I'm completely broke until payday. I only have a few dollars left for groceries," Sarah explained. "Sarah, we've been through this. I don't care about your problems," Nina retorted. "Mom, I really don't have any money left," Sarah insisted. "I don't care. Borrow it, earn it, steal it. I'm going to the pharmacy in half an hour. Get me the money by then," Nina demanded before hanging up. The phone went dead, and tears welled up in Sarah's eyes. She knew she'd have to give her mother the last of her cash. How would she manage until payday? Maybe a side hustle was necessary. Heading back to her office, Sarah stopped by her colleague's desk and explained the situation. Her colleague helped with a small money transfer from Sarah's card to her mother's. With a lighter wallet, Sarah returned to work. On her way home, Sarah grabbed a newspaper with job ads. Determined to find a part-time job to have some breathing room financially, she began browsing the listings. As she heated dinner, her phone rang, startling her. "Oh no, is Mom calling again?" Sarah muttered, relieved to see it was her friend instead. Sveta asked to come over. She'd had a fight with her boyfriend and needed a distraction. Sveta was the friend who worked at the medical clinic. While cutting cake, Sarah confided, "I haven't been indulging in sweets lately. I'm trying to save money." "Why's that?" Sveta inquired. "Saving up for something special?" "No, I'm helping my mom. My younger sister is very sick," Sarah explained. "That's serious," Sveta said with a sympathetic head shake. "What's the prognosis?" "I don't know, Sveta. My mom won't tell me anything. She won't even let me visit." "It's been a while since I've seen Lily," Sarah replied with a heavy heart. "Mom keeps saying I might bring some infection. It's all very difficult. I give her most of my salary so she can buy medicine for Lily." "What kind of medication is she taking? Do you know the names? Maybe I can help." "I have contacts for some suppliers who might offer better rates," Sveta offered. "Wait a minute, let me check." "Mom texted the names once," Sarah replied, scrolling through her messages. "Here they are," she said, showing the message to Sveta. Sveta carefully read the message, then burst out laughing. "Sarah, what's going on? This medication isn't for oncology. It's been discontinued for years. They haven't sold it in 3 years. Wait, Sveta, are you sure? You're not mistaken, Sarah asked, a knot of dread forming in her stomach. Absolutely positive, Sarah. I apologize for asking, but are you sure your sister is even sick? From what you've told me, your mother doesn't treat you very well. Maybe the whole cancer story is fabricated. Perhaps your mother's just manipulating you, trying to guilt you into giving her money. And she has no qualms about lying about her own daughter. You're right. I should at least research this online, Sarah admitted. Sveta's words resonated deeply. With newfound resolve, Sarah dialed her mother's number. Mom, what are Lily's symptoms? How does her illness manifest itself? Sarah inquired. What are you talking about? What are you on about? Nina's voice came back, laced with confusion. I mean, how does Lily feel? What are her symptoms? Sarah pressed. Honestly, can't you think of anything better to do than pester me with stupid questions in the middle of the night? It's like any other sickness, Nina snapped. Does Lily receive any treatment besides medication? Sarah continued. No, she's not getting anything. Why are you bothering me? This interrogation at this hour is ridiculous, Nina retorted. I just wanted to know more about her illness, Sarah explained. Speaking of which, Sarah, since you brought it up, you'll need to sell the apartment. We need to take Lily abroad for treatment. They can't cure her here. We're in talks with a clinic, and if everything goes through, you'll have 2 weeks to finalize the sale, Nina announced casually. That's it? Where am I supposed to live, Mom? Sarah felt panic rising in her chest. You're a healthy adult woman, Sarah. You can figure that out. I don't understand. Why are you hesitant to help us? Nina replied sharply. Do I have to help? Sarah questioned, her voice barely a whisper. Of course you do. You should be eternally grateful I gave birth to you. If I say sell the apartment, you sell it, Nina declared before abruptly hanging up. After the call ended, Sveta spoke up, her voice firm. Sarah, I'm positive there's no illness. Your mother's simply found a way to exploit you financially. You've been tricked. I think you should go back home. Do you know anyone who works at your local hospital? No. Well, I'll use my connections to find out what's really going on. Trust me, in a small community, everyone knows everyone else's business. Since Sarah was completely out of money, Sveta generously lent her enough for a round-trip ticket. The next morning, Sarah went to work, explained the situation to her boss, and requested a leave of absence to get to the bottom of this. Following Sveta's advice, she avoided going straight home and instead headed to Aunt Natasha's apartment. Aunt Natasha had never been fond of Nina, so Sarah trusted she wouldn't sugarcoat the truth. Why? Aunt Natasha exclaimed in surprise as she poured tea for Sarah. Lily isn't sick at all. Every evening, different cars drop her off. For a young girl, she's involved in some shady activities. And I've never heard a peep about illness from your mother. She only comes down to the yard to flaunt her new clothes. She's bought a ring, a fur coat, and now she's talking about a car. Where on earth does she get all this money? She doesn't work. Barely holding back tears, Sarah confided in her neighbor, revealing how she had been sending her mother every spare dollar for the past 2 years, believing it was for her sister's treatment. Aunt Natasha's face contorted with fury after listening to Sarah's story. This is outrageous. Today, I'll expose Nina's true colors to the entire building. She won't be able to live here anymore after this public shaming. And you, my dear, need to go to the police and file a report. Consider her out of your life from now on. The authorities have to help somehow. She deceived you, gained your trust for years, clearly with a premeditated plan to exploit you financially. Sarah lingered at Aunt Natasha's for a while longer, composing herself before heading back to her apartment. As she entered, Nina's expression made it clear she wasn't happy to see her daughter. Why are you back again? I told you not to come unannounced. Are you trying to get Lily in trouble? Nina snapped. The real danger to Lily is her constant outings, Sarah countered calmly, refusing to be provoked. Let me get by. I don't want the neighbors to hear us arguing. Nina detected a newfound firmness in Sarah's voice, a flicker of defiance replacing the usual fear in her eyes. She reluctantly stepped aside, allowing Sarah into the apartment. Sarah made a beeline for Lily's room, only to find it empty. Where's the terminally ill patient? Sarah asked, barely containing her frustration. Well, Nina stammered, but Sarah cut her off. Enough with the lies, she's not sick, Sarah declared with unwavering conviction. I went to the hospital and found out everything. So, tell me, how much fun did you have spending all those thousands of dollars I sent you? It wasn't bad, actually. Great, even. You saved me a lot of trouble, Nina retorted with a flippant shrug. I paid off all my debts, treated myself to a new wardrobe, and even had some renovations done around the place. Lily got a few things too, of course. Did you really think you were going to live happily ever after in New York? Dream on. The only regret I have is that you didn't sell the apartment sooner. Too bad. Nina's lack of remorse infuriated Sarah. You'll never learn, will you? If it weren't for me, you'd be falling victim to every scammer out there. You're so gullible. Sarah gritted her teeth, a bitter taste settling in her mouth. Her mother's words stung, but a part of her knew they held some truth. Sarah had always been trusting, naive even, believing in the good of others. But her mother had shattered that innocence, revealing the harsh realities of life. Fine, you're right, Sarah conceded, her voice hardening with resolve. It's time for a change, and I won't let you get away with your deception. I promise. Don't you dare threaten me. Who do you think you are? I'm your mother, and you owe me respect. Nina screeched, her bravado a desperate attempt to regain control. Respect is earned, not demanded, Sarah countered defiantly. I'm going to the police right now and filing a report against you. You will pay me back every single cent. Nina, fueled by rage, flung a mug across the room, narrowly missing Sarah. Just try it. If I get in trouble because of you, you'll regret the day you were born, she shrieked. Ignoring her mother's threats, Sarah followed through on her promise. She reported Nina's crimes to the authorities, the burning desire for justice fueling her determination. Sarah knew it would be a long and arduous journey, but she was finally free from her mother's manipulations. She had severed ties with Nina and Lily, vowing to never be taken advantage of again. I hope you enjoyed this story. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more awesome stories in the future. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey, and we'll see you next video.